Hey guys, I'm just going to jump in and get started. I know some of you just jump on a little bit late, so I'll leave a few minutes at the end and see if I can check in with your questions. And so how I wanted to start this is just to have you take a few deep breaths and close your eyes and connect to your heart. And maybe even put your hand on your heart. And remember that this is your gold, your wellspring of life. This is where all abundance comes from and flows from. And that abundance is within you. It's nothing outside of you. And imagine you're connecting with that space in your heart where your whole toroidal field connects, where all energy is fueled from. And imagine yourself just dropping into that space, your whole body, your whole consciousness, that you're inside your heart now. And this space is the space of infinite possibilities and infinite realities and infinite potential. And from this space, you can move towards anything. This is the place of just pure potential, pure resonance. It's the causal plane. And just imagine that space just going out all around you and fueling your entire electromagnetic field. That sense of limitless opportunity, limitless potential. So start to just become aware of your electromagnetic field around you. Imagine you're fueled from your heart, overflowing from you. And imagine light, just pure light, purifying and strengthening that energy. You can also imagine violet, if that feels good to you. Violet is a very high frequency, powerful. And remember that the energy that we are resonating at determines what is being reflected to us, what we're attracting. This energy is the signal we are sending out. And today I just want to feel this resonance with love, with gratitude, with appreciation, with tuning into what we actually truly love. And the reason I titled this one, Let's Program Our Association with Money, or our relationship with money, is because if you guys listen to my the free masterclass on how to access your algorithm of abundance, the entire idea is that we as humans created the concept of money. And money actually is just a symbol of an inward reality. It's a symbol of what we're saying, this has value. It's a symbol of freedom. But that comes from within us. We are the ones who program it. And so today I want you to imagine absolutely deleting and dissolving everything you've ever known and believed and been programmed about money. All the old matrix, that is one reality. But today I want you to step into and consciously connect to a new reality. And that is the place where you are programming your association with abundance. And you are the money, you are the gold. Your resonance is as abundant as you want it to be. You can fill it as much as you want it to fill within you. Fill it with light. Fill it with joy. Fill it with gratitude. And I remember listening to a healer once say that cancer was the disease of resentment, and that usually when you get down to the root of most cancers, it happens a lot with empaths. A lot of empaths get cancer. And the root of it is often resentment, but it's a hidden resentment. It's so deep because it comes from continually for years and years and years and years bypassing our needs and developing this sort of belief about our reality that it's not for us, that it doesn't know us, that it's not intimate, that it's not safe. And we don't realize it's because the reason our reality feels that way is because we have fueled that. We have believed it at some point along the way in our journey. We've believed that we're not valuable. We've made an agreement with some outside energy that came towards us, or someone else's beliefs, or someone else's experience, and we've agreed to it. And so in this moment, I want you to break up with any agreement you've ever made about your worth, that you are not worthy, or about your needs, that they can't be met. And I want you to just practice feeling abundant inside your electromagnetic field and just allowing that signal to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And you'll probably notice where you resist it. And as you practice tuning in more and more and more to your electromagnetic field, you'll notice what energy pulls you out of it, what thoughts start making your energy feel low, and what thoughts really make you feel strong and vibrate at a higher energy. And really, when you fine tune it, you realize that abundance is about receiving. It's not about doing. And that's where the lack matrix has it all wrong, because the lack matrix is built on having to earn your worth and prove your value. It's all about performing. And you're going to have money and love and abundance withheld from you until you can prove that you're worth it. But in abundance, we say we already are worth it. We all have worth and we all have value. That is innately what we are. And if we can tune into that worth and that value, that fuels us. And there is an importance to having gratitude for our life, gratitude for what we are, even for the contrast, just gratitude for this experience. And I want to challenge you to really ask yourself, ask your subconscious mind to show you any place where you have resentment, where you have judgment towards yourself or others, where you don't feel safe. And just notice where it is and say, I forgive you, I dissolve that, and I allow myself to receive love. I allow myself to receive light. I allow myself to receive deep breath. I allow myself to feel my worth. And as you're thinking about all this and just fueling your electromagnetic field, think about money right now and whatever feelings come up about it. And like I said, imagine that you're purifying that. And if you want, put a symbol in your mind right now of money. It could be a dollar sign. It could be anything that symbolizes specifically money to you. And I want you to see that as an energy, as its own energy. And notice your feeling towards that symbol. And I want you to imagine yourself fueling that with fire, or purifying it is the word I'm looking for. Just purifying. So if it's a dollar sign you're looking at, or maybe it's gold, whatever it is, it's just fire is consuming it. And the fire is burning away everything it is not. Everything about money and our relationship with money that has caused us to believe in lack and to fuel lack. Allow that fire to burn it away, to purify it completely, until what you're left with is the energy of source itself. And then imagine taking that symbol and putting it back in your heart, back to the place of all sources, where all source comes from, where all life comes from. And then again, drop your consciousness into your heart and feel yourself inside of your heart, inside source, inside the center of the universe where all things exist, the causal plane. And then say out loud, I am abundance. I am gold. I am valuable. And just feel how it feels like in your energy field to just experience pure abundance, which is source, flowing through you, up your spinal cord, around your electromagnetic field, inside of you. You're in this sphere of pure light, pure source energy. And imagine that just clearing out anything in your electromagnetic field, any block, any belief, dissolving any resentment. Also within your body. Draw that energy to your organs. I'm especially feeling led to for women, our ovaries and the whole area of our lower chakras, and also for men. Just imagine your lower chakras just filled with light, with source energy, and see that powerful source energy burning away anything that you are not, anything that is not you, that is not the truth of your essence and your being. And just see that all throughout your electromagnetic field. And remember that everything we experience in this reality is based on a belief that we are activating. And anytime we feel ourselves lowering our energy or moving towards something that doesn't feel good, we can shift it. And we can ask ourselves, what belief is fueled right now that's causing me to feel this way? And then shift the belief. And you've heard me say this a lot, but usually those beliefs have to do with I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, there's not enough. So I want you to really think about there is enough, there is plenty. Money is literally nothing. It's something that it's a number we've created in a computer. And I want you to start imagining large numbers. Think of the number 1. And then put 32 zeros behind it. Just see it in your mind. And imagine those zeros just fueling your electromagnetic field. Just all of these zeros behind a number, whatever number you pick. 1 through 9. See zeros behind that. A ton of zeros. And each of those zeros are a womb of creation. What would you fuel those zeros with? What is valuable to you? What do you care about? What do you want to create? What do you want to bring here in this life? What would you fill those zeros with? Imagine that they're all filled with source energy. They're all filled with pure value, pure love. Imagine those zeros blessing the whole world. Not only surrounding your electromagnetic field, but the entire planet. That everything, everywhere that there's a need, and everyone's most vulnerable need, your most vulnerable need, is met. Imagine what that would feel like. Imagine what that would feel like. Just tune into that reality for a minute, because it is a reality. We just have to fuel it more to experience it. But feel the reality of every single human being and animal and plant on this, and mineral, every life form on this planet, that the most vulnerable need is met, that there's enough, that everything's flowing in perfect harmony, that there really is no death, just transformation. And within that transformation is perfect harmony. Imagine that your consciousness understands that concept, that you know that there is only life, there is only energy. This is the energy field that we are fueling and strengthening every single day when we choose abundance, when we choose to think in abundance, when we choose to believe, when we choose to hold space. And within this abundance, we are allowed to feel any emotion, because as we're clearing out those beliefs and programs that are not in alignment with truth, we're going to feel the contrast of what our inner being knows to be true and what that belief is saying, the belief that's out of alignment. And so make peace right now with the fact that our emotions are multidimensional. And that there's going to be times where you feel sorrow, and times where you feel joy, and times where you feel everything in between. Imagine yourself opening up and expanding and allowing all emotions without judgment, and without letting that change the fundamental core belief that you are enough, that there is enough. Just keep drawing your attention to your heart and that energy field that is fueled from the heart that's surrounding your body. This is your Merkaba. This is your living field of energy that you can program to be whatever you want. And we've talked so much about how it's nonsensical to program our electromagnetic field with anything other than abundance. It's nonsensical. So feel the perfection of abundance within you. Feel the perfection of your uniqueness. And if you're closing your eyes right now, open them. And just feel your humanity. Feel where you are in contrast to where you've been. And allow yourself to just be. And just to sit for a moment in the perfection of your focus. That you have this amazing ability to focus. When we focus, we limit, in a sense, we draw all of our energy towards the thing that we want to fuel. And we're either doing this consciously or unconsciously. But it matters. Quite literally comes into manifestation. It matters what you focus on. And remember, it's not about ignoring what we feel or trying to run from anything. It's about moving consciously towards what we want. And today I want you to think about the concept of, what am I running away from? And how can you change it, instead of focusing on running from what you don't want, to running towards what you do want? And every human at the core level wants to feel abundant. That is the universal desire. And abundance just means that we can meet our needs. And that is the highest leverage point any empath can give to themselves. The power to remember that they can meet their needs and the power to do it. And as we do that, and as we fuel our electromagnetic field, and as we shift our perception of money and change it entirely, burn away everything it's not, we are creating a new reality. We are creating a new reality based on value exchange that we actually agree with. It's nonsensical, as I said earlier, to program our reality with the idea of lack. It doesn't even make sense. If you have the reality to program your electromagnetic field with $500,000, $10,000, a decillion, why would you program it with 5? It doesn't make sense. We are the only ones that limit what we can receive and what we can perceive. So expand yourself, practice thinking in large numbers, in large quantities, in the sense of things are limitless. And what is amazing, what happens when we start getting out of the concept of lack, is really what we start doing is fine-tuning and allowing ourselves to pay attention to what we really, really want. Once we realize it's not about money, and it's not about and once we realize our needs can be met, suddenly what we're interested in changes. Suddenly we stop playing the lack game because we realize, oh, I can meet my needs. I don't have to prove myself. I am innately worthy. I am always connected to Source. I have intimate access to it, intimate access to Source itself. What would you do if you really knew that on every level? Where would you be? What would you be talking about? What would you be thinking about? What would you be feeling? And knowing what we know now, we're not ignoring reality. The world is what it is. We're at where we're at. But what would you do differently knowing that you have connection to infinite Source energy? And in that Source, you can create whatever you want. It changes everything. And what I want to impart, I think this is absolutely critical and essential, is that we have the things that we naturally love, that we feel a natural draw to, a natural interest in, that we just naturally engage with. That is what we're meant to focus on, because you will have an infinite amount of energy to give to that. And what we can love, we should love hard and love with all we have, because love is what the planet needs. Love is what every single one of us needs. I guarantee you every single one of us in this class has felt extremely alone at one point or another, maybe even feels extremely alone right now. And yet here we are, and we all have the same desires and needs and wants. We all long for intimacy. And it's not withheld from us. The only thing that withholds it is our belief that it is, our belief that we're not worthy of it, or our belief that we can't have it. So what if we all in this instant saw each other as completely worthy and imagined each other as fully aligned with our purpose and source? If we knew every single person that's listening right now and every single person in this class has an infinite amount of abundance, has an infinite amount of potential. And what would happen, this is already happening, but what would happen if we knew it consciously, that as you shift and as I shift and as we all start expanding our electromagnetic field, we are creating something new. And we are like a silent army. We don't have to convince anyone. We don't have to get on bandwagons. We don't have to lobby. We just have to be it. And that by being it, we're creating this unstoppable force. And this momentum is going and going and going and getting stronger. And pretty soon it's just taken over. And what it is hope. And it's people letting love flow from their heart, tapping into that wellspring of life, calling back all their broken pieces, dissolving all resentment, choosing to love and forgive and hold space, especially for ourselves. And earlier in the conversation, the reason why I brought up cancer and that a lot of empaths get cancer and a lot of empaths at a deep level struggle with resentment and don't even realize it is because I truly believe that if we were to be able to dissolve our resentment, to dissolve our fear, we would be unstoppable. You incarnated here to be programmed into lack and to overcome that programming, so that you can impart that to the world. And so that you can realize your full potential, your full source. So I want you to today my prayer is for you, and before I got on, I set the intention that something would be said, that something would come through that would just click, and that you would shift, that I would shift at the most vulnerable space within us, and that healing and source energy would start flowing into that space, and that one little shift would make the biggest difference, like a domino effect. That momentum would start moving in a way that we have not ever experienced or expected before. And I know that I'm going to hear from you, and you're going to say at some point, this happened, this happened, this happened after I heard this. Nothing is ever going to be the same after this moment, because you have re-tapped into your source and you are reprogramming things from there. So things have to change. And all that matters is that we continue to fuel that we continue to allow that. And the last thing I want to say is how important it is that we remember we do not have to create anymore the way that we've created in lack. It no longer makes any sense to put our hearts last. It no longer makes any sense to budget in the sense of coming from a belief that there's not enough. I want us to think in terms of infinity. I want us to think in terms of there is always enough, because we're creating it. We are creating it. And right now we are creating astronomical abundance for everyone by fueling our own field with that program. Remember that we are all connected. Every human being is connected. And one of the theories in quantum physics is that because all species are connected, that when one member of the species learns something, they upload that into the program, and it starts gaining momentum, and other people learn it just naturally. It just all of a sudden comes to them, that field of energy. So by us all agreeing to this right now, we are uploading this program of astronomical abundance into the system. People are already just understanding this innately. And it will make no sense. It'll be nonsensical to believe in the other paradigm anymore. It just doesn't make sense. Once you understand the nature of reality, once you wake up, once you see something, once you see the sun, you can't deny it's there anymore. I'm so excited that we are set free at this level. And I cannot wait to see what we create, what we each individually create. And my prayer is that you would start fueling the network of co-creators, the network of conscious creators. Think of them. Think of others. rather than feeling alone and continuing to feel that belief that you're alone, remember that all of us are there. All of us are struggling. All of us are chiseling our way out of that lack. And we're all believing in it. And that belief has kindled a fire. And that fire is about to be flamed. It is being flamed. And it's taking off. And just feel that. Tune into that. Tune into all that's going on and all that is being fueled. It's not going to be talked about on the news. It's not going to be in the media. Because it's always those things that people are like, is it only me? Am I crazy? No, there is a ton of us. There is so many reasons to be excited right now. To not only be excited, but to be out of our minds hopeful. Because so many people are waking up. Every single day I receive so many messages in my inbox about people who are like, oh my gosh, I've been waking up at this level. I don't even know how to understand my reality anymore. So many different things are shifting. I wish we could see, if we could pull our perspective back and look at the planet and see the grid of abundance lighting up, we would all probably just sob in excitement and joy because it's already happened. It's already hit critical mass. It's already happened. We just have to own it. We just have to believe it. So that is what I wanted to leave you with today. I wanted to give you that sense, all of it. I wanted us all to remember that not only are we the ones programming money, but we can program it with whatever we want. What is money? What is value to us? And think of those zeros. Think of the number you want and put as many zeros as you want behind it and imagine as many zeros as you want behind everyone else. And remember, it's just zero. It's just potential. And that potential is fueled by you, by me, by everyone's thoughts, and specifically our emotions. So this week, I want to encourage you to keep a tab on your electromagnetic field. Keep tuning in. Keep paying attention. Keep daring. Think of this. Every person who's ever been astronomically successful did something different. They jumped out of the status quo. They didn't do what everyone told them to do. They found their own way. And then people catch on and start following their formula, and it works for a while. But it's not about following what someone else does. And we have to break out of that. It's about being uniquely you, finding your unique algorithm for abundance. What brings you uniquely in alignment? And make that choice to break up with should. There's nothing you should do. It's only what you actually feel inspired to do. What do you actually want to do? And then do it. And it can change moment by moment by moment. But make that commitment to fuel the reality that you're allowed to focus on what feels good. And that as you do that, the law of physics is the more you strengthen your field, the more abundance and power comes to you, period. That's how it works. It's not about doing these steps. Step A, step B, do this. Depending on what you're wanting, start a website, write a book, start a Facebook Live group. None of that is actually the thing. Let's all make a promise to ourselves that we will not fuel things anymore that don't actually feel in alignment with what we want. And it takes trust, because the lack matrix will tell you, oh, wait a second. If you don't do this, then this bad thing is going to happen. We have to start recognizing that voice. We have to start recognizing when lack is kicking in. And part of harmonizing our Trinity, our trust within ourselves, is remember that's just our mind trying to help us. We don't need to go to war with our mind. We don't need to insult it. We don't need to get angry at it. We just need to say, okay, mind, thank you. I know you're trying to help me survive. But here's the reality that physics backs up, by the way, is that this universe is infinite. So I need you to get working with me, get behind me in abundance. Help fuel and push forward abundance for me. Get behind me in this. Work for me. So the last thing, I know I already said the last thing, but this is the last thing I want to leave you with, is remember that in the class we've been talking about the win-win-win. And how the win-win-win is about the fellowship of your Trinity. And at the core of what we are as humans is we are relational. We are relational. We won't survive without love. So what does that tell you about where we came from, what we were created from? If you make an apple pie, the apple pie reflects the essence of where it came from, which is the apple tree. We reflect the essence of what we came from. We are relational to our core. We are love at our core. And love is the real thing that exists. So when you think about your Trinity this week, rather than thinking of what's wrong, what can I eliminate? Let me find what the problem is. Let me find what the block is. Let me find what's wrong and fix it. Instead, let's find what's right. It's awesome that we have a mind that creates. It's awesome that we have a heart that loves. And it's awesome that we have a body that lets us experience that relationship. Let's get in alignment with that. And your body matters. Your body matters. And so just as you're tuning into your electromagnetic field and feeling that energy fuel around you, just give appreciation for your body, for this amazing, it is a miracle that you even got here. The way you were formed, the fact that sperm found that egg and multiplied in the cells and made you, it's a miracle. It shouldn't have happened, but it did, and you're here, and it matters. Literally. So I just want to say thank you for being on the planet with me. Thank you for choosing to wake up at this time. Thank you for choosing abundance, because the more of us that choose abundance, the more abundance is going to be on the planet, period. Thank you for choosing to dissolve all resentment, to dissolve all agreements with lack. Thank you for being brave enough to just divorce the lack matrix and say, no, I am not going to be mastered. I will not be mastered. I will not be enslaved, because I am innately free. And remember, we created money to work for us, not to enslave us. We created any system that's ever been created to work for us, to help us, not to enslave us. As soon as anything starts enslaving you, break up with it. You are free. You are innately free. And I can't wait to see what you do with that freedom.